Hey everybody, I did a video before on what is chemo and how does chemo work, and now I'm going to be doing a little bit of video on the effects of chemotherapy. I had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and the cocktail of drugs I had was ABVD chemo. So I've been out of chemo for 2 months, so I feel like I can give a pretty decent idea of what goes on when you go through chemotherapy, but this could be different for everyone. It depends on how your body reacts to drugs. And even though I may have the same drugs as someone else, we could completely be different on how we reacted. There are some girls that had breast cancer that had some of the exact same reactions that I did. We had totally different cancers and totally different drugs. So it just kind of depends. But this is my opinion and a little bit of what happened to me. The first things you're going to feel, of course, is fatigue. You are just, it doesn't take very much till you get worn out. The first probably 2 months of treatment wasn't that horrible. I did feel fatigued, but after usually 2 to 4 days, I felt like myself again. Like I had a pretty decent recovery time. But the more I went into chemo, the longer it took for my body to like bounce back. It was getting pretty tough. So it's of course fatigue. Another thing you might have difficulty with is your appetite. For about the first week after chemo, I really did not have an appetite, but I made myself eat something. Like, your body can't really get better and thrive if it doesn't have nutrition. You have to eat, no matter what. And the chemo is going through you, and it's killing so much stuff in your body. You have to give your body a fighting chance to fight, and you have to be able to feed it. So even if you don't feel hungry, and even if you feel a little sick, you got to get something in your system. So I think that's really, really important. You have to make sure that you eat. Would it be best if you ate completely, natural or organic foods? Yes. But sometimes if you just have a craving for something, and just eat it. For me, I had a lot of craving for hot dogs. I don't know where that was. And it's not, those are cancer sticks on their own. But, if I knew that nothing else sounded good, if anything, a lot of stuff probably sounded like it was going to make me puke. If I wanted a hot dog, I would tell my husband, I said, Luke, I want a freaking hot dog. And I had the hot dog in like 30 seconds. So, just eat. Just make sure that you're eating. You have to eat. But for the most part, whenever you're kind of bouncing back, you'll feel pretty normal, and your appetite hopefully will be pretty normal. So that's good. A lot of people get sores in their mouth because the chemotherapy is killing rapidly reproducing cells, and you have those in your mouth. So a lot of people get sores on their tongue, in their mouth, on the top of their mouth. Thankfully, I never got that, but I did have a sore mouth for about 2-3 days after chemo. It just was sore, and I really try to stay away from salty foods because that would just kind of agitate everything. So you may have a sore mouth. You can drink cool liquids. That almost always helped me. Chewing on some soft ice and ice water, iced tea really felt good. But stay away from warm liquids and salty stuff in the beginning. Of course, your hair. My doctor said it was going to take a month for my hair to fall out. My hair started falling out, I think, probably 2 weeks after chemo, which was in 2 weeks. 2 weeks after chemo, I would have had 2 sessions. And I don't want to say it came out in clumps, because it's not like there was just this bald patch hanging out right here. That wasn't how it was. But I just got, just one morning, bloop, brushing my hair, full of hair. And that's when I kind of realized I'm losing my hair now. So in the beginning, it will just really start to fall out a lot. Now, I did not lose all my hair. But if I would have gone through more treatments, I would have. I was about ready to. But at the end, I was getting quite a few bald spots. I should have just shaved it, but I didn't. So it may take a month for some people, but it did not for me. It only took 2 chemo treatments, and I was losing hair. So one thing about it, if you can put your hair in a ponytail, you won't notice so much fallout. I had hair all over the place. On me, like on my chest, on my back, on my chair, on my coat, in my car. Hair everywhere. Plus, I had a lot of hair to begin with. So, if you put your hair in a ponytail, the hair's still going to fall out. but you won't see as much fallout on your clothing. But when you take your ponytail holder out at the end of the day, it's going to be full of hair. So that might be a little bit of a helpful tip. Some people get some chemo fog or some brain fog. I actually got that at the very end of my chemo, and when my chemo was over was when it hit me really, really hard. My chemo was over the very beginning of December. In December and most of January, my memory, my recall was horrible. And I have always been like quick on the dot with all my memory. I hardly ever had to write anything down. I remembered everything, and I was a busy girl, so, but not anymore. I mean, it was really, really tough. And like trying to retell a story, half the time I couldn't remember what word I was ever trying to say. It was just completely out of character. And that can be from chemotherapy. And the thing is that a lot of these brain problems, people call it brain fog or chemo brain. A lot of this, the doctors just don't know a whole lot about it. There's just not a whole lot of study on it. So sometimes it'll last just a little bit. Sometimes it can last a year. Sometimes it will last your whole lifetime. Nobody knows. Mine has started to get better, but it's still really hard for me. Like, if I don't write pretty much everything down, I can't guarantee it'll ever get done. It's been really difficult. Taking your pills, taking your medicines I have to set alarms on my phone or else I'll just forget. Stuff that I've been doing every day since like June, almost 8 months, and I can barely remember it. But that's been really tough. That's really about all that I went through. I didn't have a whole lot of like diarrhea, constipation. I still had my period. Like I went through all that. I was on the pill during chemo, which you really need to be practicing some kind of sexual prevention. I can't think of the words. You do need to do that. Your sex drive may also be affected. I mean, whenever I felt really sick, of course I never wanted to have sex. And it was tough because being a newlywed, I mean, when I started chemo, I'd only been married for 4 months. And so a newlywed, like, I want to have sex with my husband all the freaking time. But with the chemo, it just changes your world, man. And I think there was probably like, we went a month without having sex because you just don't feel like it. And I mean, I love my husband and, he is sexy to me, but it's just your body just doesn't read that way sometimes. So that can definitely be affected for you too. And it's, something you would need to talk to your partner about, of course. But that was about all that I went through that I really had trouble with. You can lose feeling in your fingers and your toes. A lot of people go through that. There's probably all sorts of other stuff that happens, but I think I'm remembering everything that happened to me just fine. But other than that, I really did. I feel like I did okay for being just pumped full of poison for 4 hours. I mean, your body is a machine. It will try. All your body wants to do is live. It's when you throw in, the human parts of you is when stuff starts to go bad, But your body will fight. It will fight, and it will do everything it can to kick this poison out and to try and make you strong again. So, thankfully, being young and being relatively healthy, before all the cancer crap, my body was able to react and keep going and do all that. But, if you need to take a nap, take a freaking nap. If you need to call in sick, call in sick. And that might end up costing you, but your health needs to become number one. So while you're going through therapy, I recommend definitely thinking ahead and trying to make some better changes in your lifestyle if you can to help some things out too. But the number one, make sure that you rest and make sure that you get nutrients in your body. That is the number one thing. It will really make a big difference. So if you have any questions, ask. Not only will I answer, but hopefully other people that are watching this might have some tips or questions too. So comment, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Bye again.